My biggest talent, as you can see, is typing in Russian on a keyboard without such lettering of that sort, stickers or otherwise. Yes, I obviously just remember the layout. Now, recently I broke the C key on my keyboard, which by the way, I used a Corsair, one of those RGB locks, I think, because I couldn't find a K, what was it, 90, 80, 70, whatever. So I had a Lux keyboard and I broke the C when I broke it when I was trying to fix it after spilling whiskey on it, and ironically, it wasn't dead before. Well, it's dead now. So, luckily, C is like the 100th used letter in the alphabet. So, I guess I kind of lucked out with that one. Luckily, it wasn't like Q or E. And now, the overall keyboard feels super sturdy and quite dense, probably a side effect of the layers and layers of the sound dampening foam that and the removable top frame, which, yes, by the way, the black frame around the keys, the entire thing is removable, and a side effect of that is that you can, buy one that's colored or just take it apart and paint it or make one, a custom one, 3D printed one, or, whatever you want. And it's, like I say, it's much heavier than it has any right to for what it looks like it should be, the size. So also battery weight. Also because the keyboard is shorter, it's not as wide, obviously, but you still get a numpad, which is nice. So it's wide, and now they obviously saved a couple inches in length, which this keyboard, was probably in the bowl. If it's not like you don't know about shrinkage. So getting rid of this extra space between the arrow keys and the numpad, that's where the couple inches came from. 10 kilos, that's too small for my liking, and the arrow keys being right on the edge of the keyboard is kind of just weird to me, because I like these keyboards to have a thin bezel, or rather a non-thin bezel, so my fingers, don't rest on anything. But not that I need a numpad. 104 keys, ain't no one needs that. The previous keyboard I had was huge, but I digress. Recently I saw this horrible AI written keyboard review where Google suggested it, and where they counted 104 keys, including things like the volume and mute and brightness keys, and I'm like, whoa, that's like not the way we do things. That's not stop trying to make volume keys happen. They're not gonna happen. But people who aren't into the whole hardware side of the stuff might not be into that. Muscle memory will take a few days, obviously. Not a fan of the function key being on the wrong side of the keyboard. I mean, what is this, England? We've fought a war against this sort of thing. I don't even drive my Mini in a dirt rally too, for fuck's sake. As far as the controlling devices, or controlling the devices, rather, that is switching between these devices is where this keyboard is at. And I actually, rather, up to 3 pairings can be held at one time, simultaneously switchable between up to 3 devices. That is, now, I tried the pairing procedure, and don't quote me on this, but um, in the few narrow instances that you might actually need it, it's a ton of fun. I'm gonna give you a quick example of just what just I'm talking about here, and I'm just spitballing here. Obviously, this is not from personal experience. So, say you need to control your laptop or PC, but also to switch seamlessly to a, let's say, an iPad where you're watching porn and you want to type something into the Pornhub search bar. Well, so to do this, a couple of notes on pairing, as people don't seem to get this right now. As far as I can tell, pairing over Bluetooth happens after you turn the little switch on the bottom of the keyboard to on, obviously, and the radio switch set it to B. And now you're ready to pair it with whatever, like a phone, or a tablet that has a Bluetooth antenna. Now to do this, you hold function and then either Q, W, or E according to whatever device you want to control in a range from, 1, 2, or 3 as a pairing. And after a few seconds, your device should see a RK96 signal in the Bluetooth devices list that it can see nearby. So, like a phone, you would go into your Bluetooth devices and it should see the RK96 device. Now, to switch between said devices, just short press function and either Q, W, or E. Now, if your computer has the Bluetooth dongle inserted, pardon my French,
No.
you can switch to it seamlessly by, again, short pressing either a function Q, W, or E, according to whichever, uh, you know, number in sequence your computer should be. Now, you see, however, if you have your computer with the USB cable plugged in, the USB-C cable that comes with the keyboard, or any USB-C cable. And by the way, this keyboard has two square USB, USB 2, ironically, ports, pass-throughs in the back, so you can plug something in to charge it, or a mouse, or whatever. So, you want to use the plugged-in cable, and you wish to use the cable as it is plugged in. You want to obviously plug it into the computer, but to switch to controlling it, you also need to turn the radio button off to set it to off on the bottom. So you will. This actually means that you will stop controlling any devices over the air, like the dongle in any laptops, or any Bluetooth devices like phones or tablets or anything like that. Now, at first, I thought this was kind of annoying that you can't seamlessly just switch between the airless and airful devices, without flipping the keyboard over. But the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. Now, first, obviously, it does limit you to 3 devices max if you do the math, so the manual obviously checks out. Next is the second you flip the keyboard over and plug it in the cable in, and that's, by the way, when your battery begins to charge, you're gonna instantly forget that the battery is using up your Bluetooth. So, here, this way, you are forced to turn the radio signal off to use the cable, clever. And yes, that brings us nicely into the lighting. Yes, there is backlighting, blue backlighting, and yes, the backlighting works even in wireless mode, which is super nice because not all keyboards do that. And yes, in all modes, even in wired ones, the backlighting has a timeout. Quite short, I might add. I'm not sure if you can change that. But it also has see-through letters, not just backlighting, which for me is a must because I literally am going blind due to cataracts. But unfortunately, unless you get the other model, the limited or whatever it's called, you don't get RGB. But you do get several lighting modes, so I can go through by pressing function and print screen, which is the lighting button. You don't have to remember all this. It's all the symbols are obviously printed up on the function keys as symbols. There are also standard media controls keys, obviously, and things like the internet, email, calculator, and to put the fun back in functionality, they all function exactly as you'd expect them to when paired with like a tablet or a phone. So, it's hilarious because the volume can be adjusted, the email app can be opened, the calculator, the music player, and so on and so forth. What else? What else? Let's see. Convenient storage for the Bluetooth dongle, two-stage feed in the back of the keyboard to raise the tilt, resistance on the knurled volume control knob, which is physical. I like that sort of thing, something you can grab and rotate and twist, you know. Keep it from sliding out of your fingers when there's blood of your enemies on them. You can check, by the way, also the battery status by holding, this is fun, by holding function and enter when not plugged in, obviously. And the numbers from 1 to 0 will light up as a percentage of the charge, obviously, which is kind of neat. They also included a key popper tool with 4 extra switches, silver switches, I believe, I'm not sure, for you to try out. So this leads me directly into the biggest, probably feature of this keyboard, its price. Now, although this is a mechanical keyboard, it is priced extremely competitively, especially for the number of features and, the backlighting and customability. Because, I mean, come on, they're not locking you in with this keyboard, and so they could get away with much bigger price. Now, how are they able to do this, you might ask? Well, RK gets away, Royal Kludge, whatever, gets away with this because they are using their own knockoff mechanical switches, ironically called RK switches. So, not paying Cherry MX the royalties to use their switches goes a long ass way towards the cost cutting. And another thing is using less than pricey materials like multiple layers of foam to bulk up the sturdiness and supposed soundproofability of this keyboard. These keys sound quite dull, you'll find, but typing on them is still quite satisfying, and there is nearly no wobble, and you can't even twist this keyboard a little. It's very, it's like a 2x4. You can't really get any twist out of it or any kind of unsecure feeling. And as I say, the keys don't wobble at all. It's less than, for fuck's sake, than my Corsair keyboard had. But it gets better still. The switches are compatible with 3 and 5 pin mechanical switches, and they are not soldered in. So you can mix and match the entire thing all the live long day. And there is magnetic wrist rest um, with a notch around the arrow keys, which sort of helps it stay in place where it needs to be. But, again, my hands are only slightly larger than Trump's, so I can't really use it as is. I mean, I can,